super hot out here, but whatever. In this video I'll be covering 06 Si tranny. We're going to be converting it to run it with 02 to 04 RSX harness, 02 to 04 speedo, and then we're converting obviously to be able to run it on 02 04 shifter cables, because obviously that's different. So like I said, I'll cover what we need to do for the actual shifter selector, how to convert it for that, and then how to convert from that high frequency speed sensor to that low frequency one, which is gear driven instead of Hall effect basically. So hopefully this helps some of you guys. If not, I mean, it's always nice to know, be able to let someone know, say, hey, you know, there is a way. Obviously you just have to split the tranny. It's probably not the most convenient way for a lot of people, but to me it's probably the best way to do it, because you could always go back and forth after that if you want to put it on like 06 Civic, or if you want to put it back into a swap car, for example, EG or whatever, with 02 to 04 ECU and engine harness, which is the most common one people use. So like I said, hope this helps some of you guys, and I'll start showing you guys here where we're going to start, which is the shift selector. Alright, so first things first, the shift selector. This one is already the 02 to 04 RSX. Right away, the issue we see here, obviously I already have that bolt off because I had it ground on there. But these two bolts on the front are the only ones that line up. There is this bolt over here that obviously if you run like a big enough washer there can hold some of it, but these two on the back side right here, they are not tapped. So what we're gonna do, obviously drill a pilot hole on those two and then tap it. The tap here, which I have, it's let's see, M6 by 1.0, which is what you'll need to tap this here. So pretty much that's it for that. Reason they're different, they're basically flipped backwards. On the 06 one, this one is over here versus this one is on the left side. I'm guessing it's because of the type of shifter they have, but like I said, that's the first thing we're going to do. And then the next thing, we're going to split the case open. On here you have to use a 1 1/16 drill bit. So once you take this off, then you still have to drill through and tap this hole here. I believe normally they come with a 12 mil head bolt, but I'm just gonna go ahead and use this same one. So just gonna use a 10 millimeter bolt head, and I'll just put a washer for that, because if it moves it should be fine as long as it doesn't come out. So with a washer I'll be fine. And then the other thing, I'll have to look up the part number for you guys, but you could actually buy this ring gear. This is for those of you that watched my video on putting Type R LSD on a K20A2 tranny. This is my old diff out of it with 4.7 final drive ring gear, just because I kept it. And good thing I did, because this is going to come in handy. Instead of buying it, having to order it and wait for it, I just removed it, because most likely I will never use this. Or I will, I don't know, who knows. But I have this. I'll try to get the part number for you guys and put it down on the description. But you can just order this. The differential on this tranny should have this machined end, and you should be able to just press it in. Just tap it in till it's flat, flush with this, and you just put your bearing back on, and you pretty much throw it back together. Then you actually have signal for your speed sensor gear with that. So with that said, went through what I was gonna do, so now I'm gonna crack the case open and start getting to the differential that I can do that ring gear. So we'll just set this aside here. We'll remove our work. Throw it bearing. Then I always put 2 bores down, so the shaft obviously sticks out just a little more than the actual case flat part. So I always lay some boards down. Then we start removing this bolt here, and then all the ones that hold it, which will obviously be a speed sensor. There's a couple balls in here that have to be removed. So we'll start getting to all of those now. Magnet over here. Like I said, all the balls and stuff that have to come out of it. So first off, got a rotator. There's this 3 here. Those come off first. These are the ones that have the balls inside. So make sure you know to get the little balls inside. There's also a spring inside the bolt, which you do not want to miss. Like I said, balls in here. There's 3 little balls there, so you just set them. They're all the same, so it's not like you need to set them in a specific spot. Tight. Let's see how this one's not gear driven. It's actually a magnet, Hall effect, whatever. There's another one on this side. Remove. This one actually, I believe, holds the reverse mechanism. So I don't want to miss that one. What else? Obviously we have to remove the shifter. There's this bolt on the side right here. This one holds the shift selector in place, so you have to remove that one to be able to pull it out, or else even if you take the bolts off, you don't want to be prying on that without taking that bolt off. So that's a must. That's off. Here we go. And that's it. See this bolt here that goes in here actually goes right here, so it will not come out unless you take that bolt out. Definitely don't want to forget that one. Now, up next, this is the reverse lockout sensor. Well, not lockout, reverse sensor. Now pretty much all we got left is this one up here, and then all the bolts around the case. So I'm gonna take the bolts all around the case. There's a dowel pin there that has to come out. Needle nose will come in handy for when you have to undo that snap ring on the top side. And that's it. I just kind of keep track where the bolts come out of. There's some that I believe are slightly longer than the others, like this one. But obviously, if the short ones don't reach, you need the longer one. So obviously I have the case off. I don't know why my camera wasn't recording, but take the case off. Once you have all the bolts off and all the side bolts, there is this snap ring here. You just pop it open and that's where the wood comes in handy. That goes in this groove here. So when you undo it, it actually drops down and you can hear it. That means that your case is ready to be pried off. So you start prying around it, trying to get in between. Once you get a spot in, it just all follows basically. So what's left now, obviously I gotta take all the gears out. What I usually do, I have my paper towels. I wrap it around with paper towels and then duct tape it or any type of tape, and just it all comes out. Like in one unit, you lay it down and then you can remove this. So that's what's next here. We'll go from there. Alright, so I'm back. I had to go get my kids and stuff, so but like I said, I usually just wrap it around with a couple rags here, just to kind of keep it clean and together, I guess. That way the tape can actually stick. So, do a couple rounds here. Because I guess the rags are mainly so the tapes actually stick, or else it probably wouldn't stick very well. I remembered, I did forget one thing, but I should be able to do it with this. So there's this. That's all one piece. What I did forget is a reverse shift selector, but I can get it through here. There's that gear that goes up and down, so it's just two 10mm bolts. Take those off, and then that part that moves the actual reverse gear will come off along with the actual fork. There's one bolt. There's the other. This shift selector comes off, just two bolts there. And then the shaft for reverse and the actual gear for reverse comes out there. So once that's done, move this back down, put another round of tape down at the bottom. Tape won't hurt it, so the more the better. And this should just pretty much wiggle out. Should. May be too tight, but we'll find out. is. Like I said, then you can just set it aside and it'll stay together. Might come up separated a little bit, but now you should be able to just pick up the diff out. And here we go. That is out. And like I was saying, this little flat spot right here is where the ring gear here will go. So all I have to do is remove this bearing, press this in there, press the bearing back on. Sorry, I don't know if you guys can see that, but this, obviously it's already machined. Press that on. After you take the bearing off, press this on, put the bearing on in reverse order after we clean the case and brake clean it all. And it should be good to go, so we'll move to that part now. Alright, so here we go. I got the bearing off. I don't really have the tool for it with me, it's at work. But all it is basically just two jaws that you put together. They're like pitched at the center. So as you tighten them, it pushes up the bearing. But all I did is pretty much get in and just pry it all around and got it off. So now that that's off, this is non-directional because I don't know where you go. The gear stays anywhere. That literally just goes there, and you literally just tap it in. It doesn't take much. I know I probably should be using a soft hammer, but I don't have them. Like I said, they're at work, but there's that, see? It'll be flush, there's no more to go. And at this point, your diff is pretty much ready for the gear other than the case. For this one, I will take it to my press to get this pressed on. I don't want to hit it with the hammer. But yeah, once I get this pressed, then I'll move on to drilling the case, which I still have to find a drill bit. But that I might have to make something or try to find a 1 1/16 drill bit, but for that, fairly simple. Obviously you just gotta drill right here, so we'll see. That's up next. So I'm back. This is done. I got this pressed back on. That's there. So the diff is good. We once again set this aside. Now we concentrate on this part of the ordeal. Obviously we take off that bolt here, and then we see what we're working with. You guys can see the hole is there, and it's actually threaded, but we don't need a threaded hole. So what we're gonna do, I gotta find the right size drill bit, drill it through, tap that, and then pretty much it's ready to go back together, other than tapping the 2 bolt holes for the shift selector. Like I said, before it goes back together, I'll do that just so I don't get any shavings inside the tranny. But pretty much with that, should be all you need to do. But like I said, I gotta find a drill bit big enough, drill that, tap all the holes, and it'll be ready to go back together. So I ended up not having to go get a drill bit as of now. what I did was, let me see, it's fairly centered. It's not perfect, but even on a drill press, it'd be hard to keep this, exactly leveled. So what I did, used my step drill bit. This one goes up to 1 inch, and then the rest I just pretty much carbide burred slowly. Tried it slowly, tried it, and now it's a little snug with the O-ring, which is what you want. Drive it in, and there it is. The bolt should do the rest to keep it in place, and it's not gonna leak. I mean, if I was scared if it was gonna leak, I could just put little dabs of silicone all around here, slap it in, and you set. But like I said, I shouldn't have that issue, so it looks like I'm good on that. Pretty much all that's left now, tap this hole here, and then the hole here, and I believe it goes right there. So I'm gonna do that real quick, and then should be pretty much ready to assemble again. So I mean, all I'm waiting on is a Honda bomb, but they should be dropping it off sometime here tonight, and then I'll be ready to assemble. So now we left off, or I left off at tapping that. So that's exactly what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna drill a hole, then start to tap. Just tap right here. Drill bit is there. Then I'll have me a bolt just so I can chase it after I'm done drilling. And since, like I said, I'm not using the size that would normally come in it, I'm using like a 10 mil. You just have to go centered. It doesn't have to be exactly centered. But you can get pretty. And you should be able to go all the way through because there's nothing back here. So that works out perfect. Bam. Perfect. Let's get an extra bolt that's the right size that I need. Perfect. See it? That's that. So now it's down. That's snug. Yeah.